Side Drive toward New North Side Drive.
I don't always know where I'm headed, but I always find a way to keep going. Roll with me.
Peace. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Olivia, and today I didn't know what I was going to discuss today, but as I was preparing my breakfast and watching an episode of 911 Lone Star, one of the characters was asked, when did he lose his faith? And I felt like I was being asked that question. You know, like I really kind of sat with it for a second and was like, okay, yeah, it's time to, this is one of those moments where I need to sit down and really sit with that question, because there are times when I say, yeah, I have a lot of faith, but if I was being totally honest, I feel like it's not, that's not 100% true, right? And I can't say that there was just one moment when I personally lost my faith. I think it happened over time, like slowly, quietly, while I was kind of searching for answers in every direction. Like I shared in a previous video, that when my firstborn son Malachi was in the hospital, I was studying a little bit of everything. I was studying the Bible, the Quran. I was very, I won't say active in the Nation of Islam, but, you know, studied a lot of the beliefs and different things of that nature. I was even like really into like supreme mathematics, like all types of stuff. And I wasn't trying to rebel. I was just trying to understand like what worked for me and to find truth that felt like my own. And during that search, during that quest, I prayed a lot. I prayed for healing for my child, for myself, for peace, for sanity, for a lot of things. And when those prayers didn't necessarily get answered the way I hoped, when the worst still happened, I didn't necessarily scream at God and say, you know, I hate you or anything like that. I understood, like deep down inside, I understood that it was just, you know, Malachi's time, or it was just one of those things that needed to happen. But I can be honest and say that my prayers stopped. Like I prayed and asked, you know, God for healing for my son. That was the biggest one. And that didn't happen. He passed, and it's like, okay, so the prayer stopped. And not out of anger, but more so out of emptiness. Like it felt like I'd used up all the faith I had left. You know, I walked away from the church. I still held on to Jesus, but not in the way that like religion taught me, but more like a symbol of how to survive suffering with love still intact. But I wasn't praying, I wasn't asking, I was just surviving. And then came the patterns of love and disappointment. Like I was never really one to believe in the one, like this is this is the one. But every time someone came along and gave me that spark of hope or just pure yumminess, I think, well, maybe this is it. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm on to something here. And then it wouldn't be, right? And each time it wasn't just a relationship that broke. It's like that those experiences chipped away at me, at my confidence, my sense of worth, my ability to trust my own instincts. Even marriage, you know, like my ex-husband and I were like the best of friends, but I don't think we married. I don't think it was about love or clarity. I think it was one of those things that we both felt like we were supposed to do, like a box you're supposed to check off, especially when you're trying to be a good woman or a good man of faith. So I did it even if I wasn't fully sure it was what I wanted, you know. And then I you know, I still have a lot of love for my ex-husband. Like, like I said, we're we're still cool, we're still friends. And we still co-parent very well, but I can honestly say that what I just shared is mutual, right? Like, this is what you're supposed to do. You find somebody you love, you get married, you have some kids, you have the home. Life is going to be great. This is it. No, that's it's just not. It's just not. That ain't it, right? You know, like, I think that, and I can just speak personally, I know I stayed in something that didn't quite fit because I thought maybe faith meant sacrificing what I felt for what I was told was right. Right? And now I'm personally in a place where even when I try to lead with love, with intention, with effort, it feels like nothing I do is enough. And that's on me. Like, no matter how much I grow, no matter how much I heal, no matter how much I reflect and do all this work, it still falls apart. But I'm realizing that maybe I didn't just lose faith in God. I lost faith in me, in the belief that I could trust myself, that I could be loved without having to carry the weight of it all, that I didn't have to earn everything or chase what should feel safe. But here's another thing that I know. Faith itself does not come back in fireworks. Like, it's not this big show where faith just walk up to you and be like, hey, here I am. It's not like that, right? It returns in whispers, in small moments where you decide to keep going, even when you're not sure what you're walking toward, right? So I started restoring my faith by doing, you know, a few things. None of them perfect, but all of them are my way of restoring my faith, right? One, you got to tell the truth. You got to be honest. You know, like, stop pretending. I had to stop pretending that I was okay. Stop acting like I wasn't questioning everything. And sometimes just hearing myself say out loud, I don't trust like I used to. I'm tired. I'm not sure what the hell I believe anymore. And honestly, that cracked the door open for healing, right? I also had to make room and make space for quiet, for silence. Because me, I'm the type of person that used to love to fill every moment with noise, with music, work, kids, distractions. But silence for me is where clarity comes. Sitting outside, laying on the floor, letting tears fall without forcing a reason, like just letting it out because it wants to come out. And somewhere in that stillness, I started to feel something again. Not always God, but I felt me, right? Another thing I had to do was pay attention to the good. Start collecting evidence, not of religion per se, but of love still showing up. You know, it could be a stranger holding the door, a song that hits at the right moment, my kids laughing when I felt like crying. That is how, for me, it looks like faith returning. Not loud, but consistently, faithfully, right? And I can honestly say that my restoration doesn't look like going back to church. It looks like creating routines and rituals that feed my spirit, lighting a candle, talking to my ancestors, writing poems that feel like psalms and prayers, reading things that make me feel seen instead of judged, and stop trying to force myself to fit in one box and just let my soul explore, right? And the last thing, and I probably talk about this a lot in almost every video, is just forgiving yourself. Because everything I'm saying has nothing to do with other people. It has everything to do with self. Forgive yourself for staying too long. Forgiving myself for losing my way, for being too hopeful or not hopeful enough. Forgiving the version of me that was doing the best she could while drowning in grief and heartbreak and in survival. Forgiving myself is helping me trust me again. And to me, that's faith. Restoring your faith isn't about doing it right. It's about returning to yourself again and again with softness, with curiosity, with grace. And if nobody's told you this lately, you're allowed to start over. You're allowed to rebuild your relationship with the divine, with God, with the sacred, and with yourself. One moment, one breath, one decision at a time. So now I'll ask you, when did you lose your faith? And do you feel like you're at a point where you're ready to find your way back? Find your way back home to you. I don't have the answers for you. But I know that's where you start. Okay? Like, we're all on this journey. Like, I'm still trying to figure some things out too. Right? But the first step is being honest with yourself. It's not about being honest with anybody else. You ain't even gotta be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. Okay? That's all I have. As always, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. And if any part of this video resonated with you, feel free to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend.